Good morning, friends. It is Raven here from St. John's, Newfoundland. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. And I've got a very important update for you. This will be super quick and something that all parents are going to want to know. When the government weaponized the war against our children yesterday by giving us controlled opposition and paying for provincial members to actually stand out in opposition of parents that love their children, that want to have an open discussion about curriculum and the weaponization of the hijacking of the LGBTQ community. It was over sensationalized on the media. But anyway, this is just a quick little update. I did receive a letter that was sent home to parents yesterday, and I'm going to read it to you. Yes, I have to put my glasses on. It says, this is what came from the Newfoundland English District School Board. As many parents flooded the system explaining that we don't stand against the LGBTQ at all. We are all about love and inclusion. We just don't like the hypersexualization, some of the material that's being shared with our children. We don't necessarily like a sensationalization of the promotion of surgeries or medication. So this was the rebuttal from the school system in general, and this went to every parent. It says, hello, families. We are emailing today to provide clarity around the education around diversity we offer our students here at Leary's Brook Junior High, especially with respect to the discussions happening in our school. I will reiterate our school district approaches a philosophy in this area. All members of the school community within the NLESDA have the right to safe, inclusive, socially just, they're social just warriors, which means they're picking sides and trying to cause division because that's all that does. Socially just education, no matter the gender, race, economic status, sexuality, national or ethnical origins, age, ability, or other life factors. This is a tenet of the province's safety and scare school policy, specifically Procedure 7, and it is grounded in the Human Rights Act. The district strives to ensure the school environment is safe for each and every one of our students, no matter how they identity. Nobody is threatening the lives of these students, and nobody is making anybody feel bad in their body. This is not our goal. Our goal is to promote safety and inclusivity, but not sexualizing our children and promoting filth and pornography. Age-appropriate activities and discussions are some of the way we engage our students, and one of the ways our school can help convey an idea of respect, compassion, empathy, and acceptance. It doesn't, because it's not accepting the parents or our children. These are important and integral ideas in today's society. We pursue many different awareness campaigns throughout our school in support of various groups: autism awareness, global assembly awareness, Down syndrome, Black History Month, epilepsy awareness, just to name a few. This is no different. All of us are unique. All of us deserving of respect and dignity. To this effect, representation matters. Seeing pictures of ourselves in the literature we read, the videos we watch, helps us to build confidence and realize that we and others out there are just like us. Just as we engage with literature with protagonists who are in wheelchairs and representation of different races. I don't see a celebrate your people in the wheelchair month, just saying. So to ensure that the members of our school community who identify as members of the 2S LGBTQ plus community see themselves represented within our school as well. One of the most important lessons we can instill in our students is respect for many things, but most importantly, respect for each other. No matter our opinions, we should be able to discuss, debate, and appreciate others' views, even if we do not necessarily agree, but that we do need to be present. Well, why aren't the parents allowed to have a conversation in this if we're talking about respect and community? The educational system has a responsibility and an obligation to prepare our students for the future. Let's turn them into cats and tell them it's okay that they can be firemen as Bert and Ernie. That doesn't fly. For the world outside their homes and communities, our school system does this through information and education. We will continue to provide opportunities for students to access this information. There are a number of organizations that help us realize curriculum outcome, and they are approved to present to our students. Who approves it? We're not approving it. It's a government-approved program. It is not parents. We just know what the government just put us through in the last 3 years with fraudulent bullshit. There's a number of organizations that help us realize our curriculum outcomes. They are approved and presented to our students. I'd like to know what committee approves that. As part of our routine on a regular basis of instructing our students, we do not necessarily involve parents at every opportunity, which means they're not telling parents shit. Groups like the Roots of Empathy, Social, Emotional Learning and Development, I knew about that. That information came home in a book bag with my kids. The community mental health initiatives, I've also got information on that when that's been happening in school. The public health nurse, the Canadian Red Cross, I got information on that as well. Achievement and the RCMP are just a few other organizations we regularly engage in an instructional matter. RCMP do not need letters of, what is it called, where you have to get permission to be vulnerable sector checks. They're the people that provide them. I would like to have all the information about whether or not these people that are doing drag shows in our schools, especially around the greater city of St. John's, if they're actually having security checks. Our education program at Larry's Brook Junior High, along with the school in this province, will continue to celebrate diversity, which means they don't care what parents say, in all of our beautiful forms, including education around the 2L SGBTQ++. That means they're going to openly continue to discuss medication and early transitioning, as I showed you guys on a slideshow in my early information. To me, that's grooming 101. We will not, listen to me, we will not inform you when we read a book on the topic of diversity of LGBTQ any more than we will inform you of reading books on topics of refugees. So they're saying that the LGBTQ are refugees in our country? Is that what we're learning here? Is that they're trying to say that the LGBTQ are refugees? Yeah, they are refugees because their identity is being hijacked by government. Anymore, not because we have anything to hide, but because we do not have anything to hide or explain. We celebrate diversity in all of its beautiful forms each and every single day in every subject area. In the coming weeks, we have pride and multicultural celebrations, and I trust this email answers questions you might have. That was a bulk email that went out to Larry's Brook. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you that Article 171 in the Criminal Code of Canada says that if you supply any pornographic material to children, it is a criminal offense. I will also clarify that the promotion of early surgeries and medications to our elementary school children is, in my mind, grooming, and as well as many other people. So this, I'm going to show you the heterosexual version, not to upset anybody, because if I do the gay version, the gay people are going to get mad at me, or not really, but I think some members of the LGBTQ. So when we're talking about stuff, okay, so this is a book that went home with the children. Here, let me turn on the light so you can see. This is a book that went home with the children. This is the straight version. There is also a gay version as well, okay? So this is going home to our children. And it's interesting because it shows putting on a condom, and then it shows penetration, and then it shows sex, and then all up on the top of this little book, it goes, This exact same book has been recreated for the lesbian and gay community. I don't really think that this is necessary. I think children need to know how to put on a condom. That's it. But this is coming home. There's also a book called Gender Queer, which actually shows young boys performing oral sex on each other and all of these things. So this is the problem that parents have. And I talked to a couple of members from the lesbian and gay community this morning that are very upset. They're not going to be participating in Pride this year because they said Pride does not represent their rights to be able to get married and live in peace. It promotes the grooming of children, and it's highly sexual. So I'm going to let you know right now that there is a non-parent informed drag queen show that is going to be happening at Larry's Brook on Friday. If you do not support this, that they're not informing you, they're not going to inform you of books, they're not going to inform you of anything that's going on with your children, please reach out to Larry's Brook and let them know that you want a vulnerable sector check for anybody that is going to be presenting anything to your children. In New Brunswick, they successfully sat down policy 713. So in New Brunswick right now, they've removed all the books with sexual content. They've removed the use of pronouns. They've also said that nobody can talk to sexuality to the children without having a medical background. That is what we want happening here in Newfoundland. I called for everybody not to attend the protest yesterday because I don't think this is a lesbian and gay community that is supporting this. What I did do is we created a project called Indigo, which is going to be on July 9th. I would love to see our lesbian, gay, and trans community that sees what's happening and is deeply concerned for our children, and to stand with us, to go for a parade through town, have a barbecue, make some new friends, and experience what true inclusivity likes. True inclusivity is not about jamming things down people's throats and forcing parents to be left out in the dark and indoctrinating them into a system where they're going to be confused. Many of us have had intimate relationships along the way, growing up, figuring out whether we like boys or girls. This is not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the government of Newfoundland and their intrusion into our parental rights. We're talking about the provincial government of Newfoundland's educational system forcing gender ideologies. In Ontario yesterday, there was a protest because the school system has come out in Ontario and said that the LGBTQ, they support them, but now they're going to say that all teachers and parents have to identify as non-binary going into fall of September 23. So all children will be identified as they and them. It resulted in violence. Parents got into fistfights. The Muslim community were marching on the pride flag. This is not what we want in our province. My advice is that if the LGBTQ in Newfoundland wants to have the respect of parents and families, that they at least entertain the conversations that we'd like to have with them, that they march with us, and that they stand against what is happening to our children. Transitioning for children is very traumatic. It can't be undone. These medications render our children infertile and dysfunctional, and that should be a decision that's made after a child hits sexual maturity. Anyway, that's just my rant. Larry's Brook is having a secret drag queen show. I suggest you all call and find out if they've had a vulnerable sector check. If you do not support the indoctrination of your children, I recommend that you keep them out. Anyway, it's back to work for me. Thanks, friends. Bye. That was it.
Off.